Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we will discuss sand and aggregates. What is sand? A powder consisting of a small grain of rock is known as sand or fine aggregate. It founds deserts and on beaches. Types of sand. There are two types, natural sand and artificial sand. Natural sand. The sand which is derived from the river beaches is known as natural sand. Artificial sand. The sand which is produced by reducing larger pieces of aggregate into smaller particles is known as artificial or man made or manufactured sand. Natural sand increase the cost of construction and artificial sand cost is minimum as compared to the natural sand. Natural sand adopted by this way. Artificial sand is manufactured by this way.
About the sand, the stone size particle which having the 0.05 to 4.75 mm size, that is known as the sand. There are three types of the sand: very fine sand 0.06 to 0.12 mm, second fine sand 0.125 to 0.25 mm, then medium sand 0.25 to 0.5 mm, then the coarse sand 1 to 2 mm. The size of aggregates which is equal to 4.75 and less than 4.75 mm, that is known as the fine aggregate or sand. What is bulking of sand? The increase in volume of sand due to the increase in the moisture present into the sand is known as the bulking of sand. If we are using the bulk sand into the construction work, then we have to reduce the water cement ratio. Now we'll see the particle size distribution of the sand. It is carried out by the sieve analysis. The number of sieves were arranged into the descending order as shown in figure. Then it will be shaked. The retaining material on a particular size of sieve is considered as that size of the particle. By this way, the particle size distribution of the sand is carried out. Size of aggregates and their use. The aggregates having different shape and size are used for the different purposes and into the different structures. The aggregates having 80 to 100 mm size were laid under the railway tracks. The 50 to 60 mm size of aggregates were used for the construction of roads, highways, runways, etc. Generally, we all know that 20 mm and less than that size of the aggregates were used for the building construction works, that is, in concrete. After this, we'll discuss about the shape of aggregates. There are basically 5 shapes of aggregates we study into the properties of the aggregates. First, rounded shaped aggregates. If we use these types of rounded aggregates into the concrete, then there may be chances of creation of the voids, because due to the rounded shape there will not be proper bonding in between the particles. Second, irregular shaped aggregates. It slightly affects on the workability of the concrete. Then, angular and flaky shaped aggregates. These types of aggregates gives the poor workability and creates the difficulties into the placing of the concrete. On the other hand, due to the angular aggregates, there will be proper interlocking in between the aggregate particles. Elongated aggregates. Generally, elongated aggregates are not used because it will not bear the heavy loads and it breaks. And these are the some points which were we discussed it now. Different tests on the aggregates: the crushing test, abrasion test, impact test, sound test, and water absorption test. Now we'll see the main 3 tests which are carried out on the aggregates. Aggregate crushing test. First, put the filled cylinder on the horizontal and level base plate and weight it as W1. Then inserted the plunger horizontally on the surface. Care should be taken that the plunger should not jam into the cylinder. Place the cylinder with a plunger on the compression testing machine. Apply the load at a uniform rate of up to the 40 tons in 10 minutes. Load is released and remove whole material from the cylinder. Sieve the material with 2.36 mm IS sieve. The care should be taken to avoid the loss of the finer particles. Weigh the fraction passing through the 2.36 mm IS sieve as W2. Now we'll turn on the calculation part. To calculate the aggregate crushing value, there is a formula, that is W2 into 100 divided by Wn minus W, whereas W2 is the weight of fraction passing through 2.36 mm sieve and W1 is the weight of surface dry sample, where W is the weight of the empty cylinder. Aggregate abrasion test. The sample of specifically sized aggregates and the abrasive charged is placed in the abrasion machine and rotated at the 30 to 33 revolutions per minute, that is RPM. The sample is removed and washed over a number 12 sieve of 1.70 mm size and placed it an oven to dry. The percent loss or the difference between the original mass and the final mass is calculated. By this way, we can determine the abrasion value of the aggregate. Aggregate impact test. Impact test means that applying the sudden or impact load on the aggregates and checking that it bears the load or not. The AIV, that is Aggregate Impact Value Machine, is used for this. General points about the aggregates. Nowadays, due to the excessive mining of the sand from the riverbed, the government banned for the mining of the sand. Due to excessive mining, the water holding capacity of the water bodies were losing. On the other hand, due to it, the evaporation of water is increased. Due to the evaporation, the water storage is reducing and it affecting on the aquatic life. But we requires this sand for the construction works, so that the in spite of this sand, the stone cutted pieces or the fine sand or manufactured sand is using into the all types of the construction works. Here we'll stop. Thanks for watching the video.